We're going from one belief structure to another, and there's a contest between the two.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're at a kind of transitional sort of crux point in Western history, and the question will be, in a sense, what prevails. And there are actually a bunch of candidates out there. So you've got the kind of wokeism of social justice, Black Lives Matter, climate alarmism. I mean, it's interesting that a survey was done recently at the University of Bath in 2021, which indicated that 3 out of 4 young Australians actually claim to be scared of climate change, and 40% of young Australians are seriously questioning whether they want to have children. So climate change alarmism is a kind of new sort of religious apocalypticism that is taking people, and sort of it's kind of a substitute for Christianity. And then you've got the Black Lives Matter and sort of social justice movement, which of course is huge in America. But interestingly, and maybe more positively, there are other things coming up to speak into this meaning void in people's lives. And I would say, for example, the Jordan Peterson movement is one of them. Jordan Peterson has a phenomenal following around the world, sells millions of books, and you've got his movement, which seeks to sort of question a lot of this wokeness, and which actually leads a lot of people to reconsider Christianity and the Bible. And you've also got good old sort of Christianity, which is still hanging in there. And in fact, the most recent sort of 2022 National Church Life Survey in Australia, in fact, church attendance is on the incline, and younger people are actually more likely to attend church more regularly than older Australians. And so although religious identification might be declining among Christians in Australia, actual church attendance seems to be a little bit healthier. So there are a whole bunch of interesting things going on, and yeah, it's a fair question to ask, what is going to win out in all of this, or will it just be a sort of continual struggle going forward? It's hard to tell.
Of course, for the progressive liberals that we're talking about, people like Sue Lines, the President of the Senate, they'd be aghast at the idea or the allegation that they have a form of religion. I mean, they would claim to be, deeply logical, rational people with no degree of interest in superstition whatsoever. What are they missing? I mean, how can this be a religion if they don't profess to it as such? They don't tick a box on the census to say woke.
Yeah, well, probably in a few ways. I mean, scholars of religion have talked about the sort of functional religion. That is, anything that sort of gives your life meaning and sort of gives you a set of rituals, gives you something really to live for. And certainly wokeness fits that category. And it's not a coincidence that wokeness itself so resembles particular forms of Christianity, particularly sort of American evangelical Calvinistic Christianity, with its emphasis, search yourself for your sin. Well, in wokeness, search yourself for your phobias, your racism, your transphobias. Search yourself. And if you say, I'm not sinful, that's just evidence of how sinful you are. If you say, I'm not racist, well, that's just evidence for how racist you are. And once you find all of these sins or racisms in you, then you have to publicly declare them and tell other people that they are also sinful or racist as well, and then over time essentially try to evangelize the whole of society and bring about some kind of, well, in the case of wokeness, a kind of diversity utopia. So they might not see themselves as religious, but in actual fact, they've imbibed a whole bunch of ideas on social justice, which actually can't be justified by science. So if someone says, for example, that women should be equal to men, that's not a scientific proposition. If someone says, I believe in human rights, that's not a scientific proposition. They're getting it from somewhere. In actual fact, historically, they're getting a lot of their ideals from Christianity itself. They just either don't know it or don't want to hear it. But yeah, in actual fact, these are some of the most, social justice warriors and the woke brigade are some of the most religious people in modern society.